Hello, class. We're here with Les Hunter. Hi, Les.
Hello.
Who's our interview with a playwright. He was born and raised in Tucson, but I had the I had the pleasure of meeting him at grad school, and I have coerced him into speaking with you today. We read his play in class, The Biggest Break, and at some point in time, he's going to tell us a little bit about that. But I was hoping, Les, if you could tell us a little bit about your history with drama. And when did you first get introduced to a play? I mean, did you stumble across one, or when did you start writing plays? And at what moment did you realize this is it? This is what I want to do.
Sure. Well, I think it was probably the time that I really started becoming interested in theater was in high school, and I I went to go see something at the U of A at Centennial Hall. I went to go see Angels in America
Mm-hmm.
when it was on its first touring run in I think 1994, 1995. And it was amazing. It totally blew me away, and I thought this was really exciting. This is something that I really want to be a part of. I went and saw it once, and the next night I snuck in to see it again, and because I didn't have enough money to get in, you know. Uh, so
What?
yeah, that was pretty amazing. And then I started writing plays in around that time, and I wrote some plays in college, and I kind of put it away for a few years when I was started becoming a high school teacher here in New York, just because I was too busy. But then after I kind of got the swing of that a little bit more, I started picking it up again, and
Can you tell
I,
us a little bit about? So you said it was Angels in America.
yeah.
What? I haven't heard of this play. So can you tell us a little bit about it, and maybe what elements or aspects of it, the performance that sort of got you?
Well, it's a play written by a guy named Tony Kushner, who wrote the movie Lincoln that
Mm-hmm.
just came out last year, um, and it won a Pulitzer 2 years in a row, actually, because it's two parts. I think 1992 and 1993, and it's a play about a man, a New York City gay man who discovers that he has AIDS, and it's kind of a magical play. There are things that happen that don't really happen in life, like angels come out of the sky, and um, you know, animatronic humans at like museums come to life, and flaming books come up out of the floor. I mean, it really ties in all these amazing elements of lots of different aspects of American life: Mormonism, Judaism, capitalism, Marxism, AIDS, politics.
So they all go on vacation to Disney World because
Yeah, right.
animatronics and angels, right? No,
Yeah,
it does. It sounds fantastic, right? Like
yeah, it's really good.
phantasmagoria.
It's actually you can. There's a movie of it with Al Pacino. Um, that's pretty phenomenal. That you can watch online or something. I'm sure. Yeah. So and I just thought I just thought it was really beautiful when I saw it, and I was really taken away. I didn't know that theater could be like that. It was really smart. It didn't seem hokey. It didn't seem fake. It seemed really real. It seemed, I mean, even though it is very, very fake and super theatrical, it felt very real to me and very now. And yeah, I mean, I think people still, when I teach it to my students, they really identify with it still. So
Yeah,
I think
and
it still has something for us.
that's a perfect lead in, I think, to my second question, um, which is how do you introduce drama to your own students? And what advice do you have for reading or interpreting or writing about drama, particularly? Um, and I suppose, a sort of implicit question in this is how does it differ from reading, interpreting, and writing about other genres?
Mm. Yeah, I think kind of the main thing that's important for a student to go into when they're reading a play is to just not be precious about it. You know, I mean, we have this idea that theater is this very kind of like erudite, very like, you know, kind of high class ordeal for a small set of people or something. And just to kind of forget all that and just see what you like in it when you're reading it, and like enjoy it, you know, enjoy it for what it is, and maybe hate it. That's fine too. But just to not treat it like it's like a sacred text, you know, just to treat it like it's just something that you're reading, that you're taking in like you would watch a television show, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I guess a quick follow up I had was, you know, in your opinion, what are the three most essential plays that students shouldn't go through college without reading? And bear in mind, I did tell him what plays we read, and it would be fine if none of those plays are actually in my 102 course. But, you know, right now, in this moment, what three would you say?
I mean, I do think Angels in America is an amazing, amazing play. That if I were, you know, college age kid who was excited about something that I read, and wanted to pick up something else, I would go read that. You know, I think you made really good choices. Trifles is a very good play, and The Glass Menagerie is a total classic. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, yeah. Those are pretty good choices, you know. I mean, that's like those are classic Americana. You know, I mean, if students haven't read much Shakespeare, that's something to try out, just to try it out. And I really like a lot of very kind of contemporary playwrights. Like I there's a guy that I really like named Will Eno. Mm-hmm. E-N-O is the last name, and he writes little tiny kind of whimsical plays with like characters named prologue and epilogue, and they like argue about the structure of the story and where it's supposed to go and stuff like that. Yeah, so
that's great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reinforcing my awesome decision making from the course I pretty much inherited. But that's excellent. I'm going to check out that play since you speak so highly of it.
Yeah.
So my next question has to do with Biggest Break. So can you talk to us specifically about this play that I have forced my students to read, and how did you get the idea to write it? And this is a question that came up while I was talking with one of my students about it. He wants to know if it's a Tucson play or just a play set in Tucson. Is this, you know, are the themes of the play something that you see that go beyond sort of, or is it particular to the city?
That's a really good question. Good question, whoever asked that. Yeah, you know, I mean, I do think that there are certainly elements of it, you know, children really not really hating their parents for whatever reason, you know. I think that that's pretty universal. But, you know, part of the construction company and all that kind of stuff, the development company, and destroying the desert, that's something that I feel is very much. I mean, when I was a kid in Tucson, Tucson was half the size of what it is now. It was a much smaller city, and there were parts that I clearly remember as being desert that are now all just like strip malls that look the same as every other strip mall in America, and that makes me sad. So. You know, I feel like there is something to be said about trying to protect what you have that makes Tucson unique. And you know, those people, the guys in that play, I knew those guys that I knew growing up. You know, I mean, I based one of them very much off of this guy that I used to play soccer with. So, yeah, yeah, I do think there are universal things about that play, but there are also things that are very Tucson.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I was in Tucson something like 15 years ago, when my parents moved out here for a quick stint. I stayed and actually did a year at Pima before moving back to New York to finish my undergrad. And even that change has been quite dramatic. Anywhere where there used to be, say, like a Los Betos is now sort of like a car title loan place. And it's just sort of this landscape of poor financial decisions that I've seen sort of encroach. And that, and that is sort of representative of a particular kind of ism spreading. In any case, this last question might be a doozy, or it might be not. I'm not sure how to land. So, so when you're writing a play, do you ever say to yourself, this play needs more imagery or more insert literary elements, and come up with an image or literary element? Or does it just kind of sneak up on you? And another way to think about it is, are literary devices a conscious decision in your writing process, or do they happen more organically?
I don't think I really sit down to say, oh, I need this kind of like metaphor or illusion or something like that. I mean, I think that sometimes, I'll think, I guess metaphor is a little bit different, because like, you don't want to just say the thing necessarily that people are going to say, because people don't usually say exactly what they mean anyways. So, that there is, sometimes I will say, I want to say something else that says what this person's trying to say here. But, I really write, I try and write as much, and, I really try and write as much as possible for the stage. I try and think of how things will look appearing in fully embodied people in front of an audience, which is kind of weird, because I feel like I'm a fairly kind of literary playwright as playwrights go, but I do try and write as much as possible for the stage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's certainly, I think that kind of connects us back to maybe advice for our students. I mean, to think of how, I mean, something I like to say, back when I had classes that met, physically, I would always remember to say something like, try to imagine how this would look if you're the director. How do you perform this? And so it becomes less of student interacting with text and more of student producing the text in the stage, even if it's the stage of the imagination of one small group or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's really an important question about audience in any kind of writing, rhetorical situation. Who are you writing to? Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, that's the questions we have. I want to thank you so much for
thank you.
The time.
It's really nice of you.
No, you're a very talented writer, a very excellent colleague, and I thank you for coming and talking with my students. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's my honor. It's a real privilege. I also took some classes at Pima, and my mother taught there for many years, so I'm a fan.
Excellent. Yeah. And you just accepted a new post. Can you tell us where that is?
Yeah, I'm going to be a playwriting professor at Baldwin Wallace University, which is in Cleveland.
Okay, so anyone thinking of transferring to Cleveland, you guys have an in there now to talk to Les Hunter. And once again, thanks very much for stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay.